So we're going to start with the Prevention magazine and hopefully work our way over to the book that I read today, and maybe even another magazine review, because after all, tomorrow night, even if this thing acts up, I promise we're gonna do the bombshell relationship advice and questions about moi, the Valentine's Day edition. Your questions that I picked out, my answers, so you don't want to miss out. But right now, the Prevention magazine for March 2021. It says outsmart your genes, the must-read protect your private health data, 3 things to know about the COVID vaccine, yada, yada, yada on the front. But I picked out the important parts of this book, and I'm going to share it with you right now. Okay, on page 16, are you burned out? Like this camera. Okay, feeling stressed out could lead to a burnout. That makes sense, right? But new research in the journal Psychological Bulletin suggests that reverse may be true as well. German researchers looked at studies on the topic and noticed a trend. Feeling burned out led to people feeling more stressed in other ways, possibly because everyday tasks become harder to complete or seem more daunting. Constantly feeling this way can take a toll on your mental and physical health. Check in with yourself. Common signs of burnout include exhaustion, from which you can't recover in a night or weekend, cynicism, reduced performance, and alienation. If you're having those feelings or want to keep them at bay, try these tools from Dr. Judy Ho, PhD, host of the podcast Supercharged with Life, Dr. Judy Ho. Breathe. Close your eyes and take 10 slow, deep breaths. This affects you on a biological level. Your brain gets the message that it's okay to disengage the fight or flight response triggered by stress. You'll feel relief almost instantly, says Ho. Unplug. Researchers show that spending too much time in front of a digital device can amplify stress and anxiety and decrease happiness. Reverse this by taking a digital break every day, Ho says. Start with 1 hour, maybe during dinner or before bed when you don't go near your TV, phone, or computer. Engage your senses. Savor that first bite of food, light that scented candle, or dance to a favorite song. Mindfully appreciate these types of positive moments can help you feel calm, says Ho. This is page 16 on prevention. Are you burned out? Pulse. Moving forward. Oh, I always like reading the next part to you. Prevention science. These are 5 myths about food and health. The right nutrients can help your health, but some dubious claims persist. By Kate Rockwood. The illustrations are by Andrea DeSaints. Myth 1. Orange juice can ward off a cold. Cold. C-O-L-D. The myth buster. A glass a day or even a mega dose of vitamin C in a supplement probably won't keep the rhinovirus at bay. A review of 30 studies found that taking 200 milligrams or more of vitamin C didn't prevent colds in most people. If you do get slammed, however, C may help shorten the duration of your symptoms a little, the study found, and while not a magic bullet, it does play a critical role in helping your immune system. Aim for between 75 milligrams and 90 milligrams a day, about as much as you would find in an orange, a cup of broccoli, or a cup of sliced strawberries. When you find yourself coughing and sneezing, relieve symptoms by drinking plenty of fluids, taking a warm shower to moisten the nasal mucous membranes, getting extra sleep, and doing some gentle exercises, says William Schaefer, the MD, a professor of preventative medicines at Vanderbilt School of Medicine. And this is page 56 of Prevention magazine from March 2021. We're going to the second myth now, which is cranberry juice is best for a UTI. Here comes the myth buster. You may be a fan of the cran, but plain old water is better. A JAMA study found that women with recurring urinary tract infections, which are UTIs, who consumed an additional 1.5 liters of water daily were less likely to get another one. In a different study, Women who drank 8 ounces of cranberry juice twice a day for 6 months were no less likely to get another UTI than those who didn't. You may have better luck with a cranberry supplement. Limited evidence suggests that taking 500 milligrams of cranberry a day in a capsule form may reduce the risk of reoccurring UTIs. Perhaps because the larger concentration of A-type proanthocyanidins, no idea what that word means, may help prevent bacteria from sticking to the urinary tract walls, says Jennifer McDaniel, the MSRDN, owner of McDaniel Nutrition Therapy. If you think you have a UTI, get a test quickly and take any antibiotics you are prescribed. Untreated, a UTI could progress into a kidney infection. That was page 56-57. Here comes 58 and 59. Yes, more Mythbusters. Number 3. Pasta and bread give you brain fog. That's the myth. Here comes the Mythbuster. Not unless you are one of the relatively few who have a true allergy to or intolerance of gluten or wheat, which can be diagnosed by a doctor. For most people, it's eating too few carbs that can leave them feeling sleepy and unfocused, both signs of low blood sugar. The starches and sugars in carbohydrates are the body's and brain's main sources of fuel, McDaniel says. To feel your sharpest, go for whole grain, whole food-based carbs. Think whole wheat pasta, oats, beans, whole fruits, and veggies, as they are often fiber and lots of vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants, unlike processed breads, cereals, and desserts. Foods in the latter group can spike your blood sugar, leaving you tired and foggy when it comes crashing down. Now, myth number 4. Dairy can make you more mucusy. Now, here comes the Mythbuster. Nope. Studies have found that drinking milk has no effect on the amount of mucus people make. Also, quote, dairy does not objectively affect any lung function, end quote, says Rand Goldman, MD, a professor of the Department of Pediatrics at the University of British Columbia. Dr. Goldman attributes the myth to the influential 20th century pediatrician Benjamin Spock, who was an MD, and Moses Maimonides, a 12th century physician who popularized the idea. The research we have today doesn't support those esteemed doctors' choices, Dr. Goldman says, so unless you have an allergy or an intolerance to dairy, there's no reason to skip the ice cream. Fight phlegm with hydration, sleep, and cool mist humidifiers, and keep allergens in check by giving your vacuum cleaner a workout. I do regularly. Me and Jaws get into it all the time. That's what I nicknamed my poor vacuum, because it seems like I constantly beat up on it. It's like stress relief, you know. You get angry at the thing when it's not picking things up, you just kick it. Anyway, myth number 5. Apple cider vinegar helps prevent cancer. Here comes the Mythbuster. There's no evidence that trendy ACV, which is apple cider vinegar, can prevent or treat cancer, Dr. Schaffner says. Now, one study showed that the acetic acid killed tumor cells, but those were rat cells in a lab. Also, it's nearly impossible to change the acidity of your blood through what you eat or drink, even if that might affect the risk of cancer. Eating certain foods is associated with a reduced risk of certain types of cancer, however. Some studies have shown a connection between consuming cruciferous vegetables such as broccoli and kale, and lower risk, and people who generally stick to produce, whole grains, low-fat dairy, lean proteins, and go easy on that red meat, alcohol, sugar tend to have lower risk, McDaniel says. Okay, we're moving forward. Thank goodness we're going to be able to knock this one out tonight. Okay. Oh, this is really good for the family. Okay. You're going to spring forward for fun. Okay. Now, mind you, daylight savings times begins March 14th. So that's right. We have Valentine's Day and then we spring right forward to, losing an hour of sleep. So it's perfect opportunity to play around with the clocks. These games will teach the kids about time and get them moving on a rainy day. Here's a clock quiz. Use an oversized activity to show your kids how to read an analog clock and explain the time change. To prepare, write the numbers 1 through 12 on a large piece of paper, spread them on the floor in the shape of a clock face, tape a few pieces of paper together, draw the clock hands on them, and label the hour and the minute. Show your kids how a clock works, then call out times, 2 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and challenge them to move the hands on the correct positions. After you explain about moving the clock forward for daylight savings time, have them jump or quote-unquote spring forward 1 hour on the clock and repeat until they get tired. And that's on page 86. We have the Great Time Hunt. Now here's a fun way to put plastic Easter eggs to good use and let your kids practice telling time. With a marker, write a digital time that says 3:30, okay, on one half of each egg. Now you're going to draw a corresponding analog time on the other half. Hide the egg halves, and when your kids have found them all, see if they can match the digital half to the analog half. How cool is that? The challenge circuit. Write 7 or 8 time-related questions on cards. For instance, what time did you get up in the morning? What time is 2 hours earlier than lunchtime? And, quote, for daylight savings time this Sunday, we will set our clocks forward or back 1 hour. Number these questions, then spread them around your home. Create numbered answer sheets at, quote, go. Have the kids race around the challenge to challenge in any order, writing their answers in the correct numbered slots on their paper. The person or team to finish with the most correct answers wins. And that's on page 86 and 87. And that's all I'm sharing from this Prevention magazine from March 2021. You want to make sure that you don't miss out on this wonderful magazine, so go out and pick it up today.